Think your everyday survival gear is cutting edge? The truth is, many of the tools in your pack or emergency kit were born more than a century ago in the mud, chaos and desperation of World War I. That global conflict wasn't just about trenches and artillery, it was also a proving ground for human ingenuity. Facing brutal conditions, soldiers and medics had to innovate or die, creating equipment and methods that have since evolved into staples of modern survival. In this guide, we're going to uncover 7 survival tools that trace their roots directly back to the First World War. These are items so effective that their essential form hasn't changed in over 100 years. By the end, you'll never look at your compass, knife or water filter the same way again. The entrenching tool became the ultimate survival shovel. When soldiers in 1914 dug into the soil of France and Belgium, they quickly realized that having a shovel wasn't optional. It was survival. The entrenching tool, or E-tool, became as vital as a rifle. Compact and foldable, it allowed soldiers to dig trenches, create cover, and shape defensive positions. But its use went far beyond earthworks. In desperate close-quarter fighting, soldiers used sharpened shovels as weapons. Some designs incorporated pick ends, making them versatile for breaking hard ground or ice. Today's survival shovels carry the same DNA. Modern E-tools fold into compact shapes, fit neatly into packs and serve multiple roles, digging fire pits, cutting wood, or even prying and hammering. Their lineage is unmistakable. Whenever a survivalist unfolds a shovel to clear ground for a shelter or dig a latrine, they are repeating the lessons learned under fire in the First World War. The modern compass owes its battlefield precision to World War I demands. Accurate navigation was not just a convenience in World War I, it was often the difference between survival and slaughter. Troops operating in smoke-filled, shell-torn landscapes couldn't rely on landmarks. Early compasses were bulky, slow and unreliable, but the demands of trench raids and night manoeuvres forced engineers to refine them. By the mid-war years, pocket compasses with liquid damping allowed smoother needle movement, faster bearings, and reliable direction even in chaos. That innovation carried forward. The compasses survivalists and hikers carry today, small, durable and precise, owe their existence to battlefield necessity. The lensatic and prismatic compasses used by militaries worldwide still mirror World War I breakthroughs. Without those developments, modern navigation in survival situations would be far less dependable. The trauma kit was born in the mud and blood of the trenches. The sheer scale of injury in World War I forced medicine to advance rapidly. Before the conflict, most armies had rudimentary first aid supplies, but with thousands of soldiers suffering from shrapnel, bullets, gas burns and infection, it became clear that standardized trauma kits were necessary. Bandages were redesigned to be sterile and compact. Field dressings could be applied quickly with one hand, allowing wounded men to treat themselves. Antiseptics like iodine saw wider use. Morphine syrettes were developed for fast pain relief. Those innovations are the ancestors of today's IFACs, individual first aid kits, carried by soldiers and civilians alike. Modern trauma kits include tourniquets, hemostatic gauze, and pressure dressings, but the concept is unchanged, a portable personal kit that can keep you alive until advanced care arrives. Every time a prepper or outdoorsman packs a trauma kit, they are carrying a tool first refined in the trenches. The multi-tool. It emerged from the necessity to repair just about everything in the field. On those front lines, equipment was constantly breaking down. Soldiers simply couldn't afford to lug around full toolboxes, and, well, they often had to make repairs under fire. This pressing need gave rise to compact, foldable repair tools. Early prototypes ingeniously combined pliers, wire cutters and screwdrivers into a single implement. While they may not have been as polished as today's multi-tools, they were born from the same principle: maximum utility in minimum space. From these humble beginnings came the tools that modern survivalists truly prize. The Leatherman and Swiss Army knife both reflect the legacy of the First World War, offering compact solutions for cutting, tightening, opening and even improvising. In survival situations where versatility is king, this trench-born innovation still, without a doubt, proves its worth. Water purification methods, you see, were forged out of sheer desperation. One of the deadliest threats during the First World War wasn't bullets, but rather disease. Contaminated water in the trenches spread dysentery, cholera and typhoid like wildfire. Boiling water wasn't always possible under fire, so chemists developed tablets using chlorine and iodine to kill those pesky pathogens. These tablets were issued to soldiers to drop into their canteens, making foul water at least safe to drink. Today, survivalists still use water purification tablets in emergencies, often alongside filters and UV purifiers. The principle remains unchanged, a lightweight chemical method to make water safe when you can't trust the source. The desperation of trench warfare gave us the foundation for one of the most vital survival tools of the modern age. The trench knife became the fixed-blade survival knife. Close combat in the trenches was brutal and unforgiving. Rifles with bayonets were unwieldy in tight quarters, so soldiers carried trench knives, sturdy fixed blades designed for stabbing, prying and cutting. Many designs included knuckle guards or brass knuckles, combining offence and utility. Modern survival knives, whether carried by soldiers or outdoorsmen, retain this lineage. They are not delicate folding blades, but strong, reliable tools designed to handle multiple tasks in hostile environments. From cutting rope to processing firewood, the fixed blade knife owes its survival role to its trench-era ancestor. Effective signalling began with whistles and flares in no man's land. With artillery thunder drowning out voices, communication in World War I had to adapt. Whistles became a crucial tool for signalling charges or warnings. Flares of different colours were fired to indicate positions, request support, or mark targets. These simple yet effective methods saved lives and coordinated armies in the confusion of battle. Today's survival signalling devices, from high-decibel emergency whistles to signal flares and reflective mirrors, trace their roots back to this era. In both battlefield and wilderness, visibility and sound remain the keys to rescue and survival. The principles first applied in the mud of Flanders continue in the gear of modern survivalists. The enduring ingenuity of World War I survival tools still shapes us today. What links all of these tools together is necessity. The First World War was a crucible that forced ordinary soldiers to innovate or perish. From shovels that doubled as weapons to chemical tablets that saved men from disease, the gear we now take for granted has its roots in that desperate struggle. These tools remind us that survival is about adaptability, resilience, and never underestimating simple, practical solutions. So the next time you pick up a multi-tool strike, a compass bearing, or drop a tablet in your canteen, remember that these aren't just conveniences, they're the legacy of men who fought, bled, and endured in the trenches. If you found this journey into the survival legacy of World War I fascinating, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into history's hidden ingenuity. Share this video with fellow history enthusiasts and survivalists, and let us know in the comments which of these trench-born tools you rely on most today. The past still equips us for the future, if we're willing to learn from it.